that I can. I want to continue to have these legendary performances because, you know, I have a lot less to go than where I've come from. So, want to make them memorable so my daughter and my kids can look back one day and say, "Wow, Daddy, you did that." You know. So that's really what I care about right now.
And just this night, I mean, the teammates, obviously Justin and Rose, can you give us some insight into what the training for this has been like? And obviously you being the one that's going to look to try to close the show for the team.
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I think in Jacksonville, the last fight I fought, it was great. I wanted Rose on that card as well, and we were able to make it happen. And obviously you saw what we produced that night, but we felt a little incomplete. Yes, Justin was there, so it definitely helped us feel better, but we felt a little incomplete because we didn't get to watch that madman throw down. So as soon as this was a tentative date that we were looking at, I said, "Yo, how about we get Justin on that too?" And of course, our wonderful manager Ali Abdelaziz was able to try to make that happen for us, and for you guys, it's going to be a treat as well.
And you're never short on confidence as it was, but to do what you did to Jorge Masvidal in the last fight, what did that do to just your self-belief and just not only knowing what you can do, but seeing it put into practice?
A lot of this is manifestation and the work that I've put in. You put in a lot of work for years, I say it, and I know I say it, and it's kind of hard for people to imagine, but I was putting in work when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was putting in work just to work, hoping that one day it's going to turn into something, and it eventually did. And of course, you visualize and you imagine all the things that you want to do, and I knew it right after that fight. I don't know if you guys ever saw the video on Anatomy of a Fighter. Shout out to my man Will Harris. I was backstage and I was just unhappy. I was unhappy with the performances. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to go out there and leave these performances to where when I'm done, I can look back and be happy with. And I was unhappy with that. I was like, no, yes, it was tough because I took the fight on 6 days' notice, and as hard as it is to believe, I went through more adversity than he did. But of course, mine wasn't published because I don't need to do all of that, And going out there and still been performing like that, I just didn't feel like that was my best. So I wanted to right that wrong. So of course, I was confident. I knew what I was able to do. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I was going to do. I manifested it. I saw it over and over and trained it, practiced it. Went out there and to put an emphatic finish like that on for the people, it really lets you guys know what I've been saying for years. I'm the most vicious and most well-rounded welterweight there's ever been, and I think that proved it.
You mentioned righting a wrong with Masvidal. What about Colby? Is there anything from that first fight that lingers with you that you want to correct in this one? He's obviously said a ton about the refereeing and claiming you fouled him and this and that and the other thing. Is there any of that with you that you are hoping to correct with this win?
No, nothing lingered at all. I mean, you guys saw the viral video of me and him talking when he turned red. It's simple. It wasn't a decision. I finished you. And of course, he did the best he could. I actually like the fact that, he stuck with the excuses and he kept making the excuses because, again, it made you guys all want to see that again, right? And so, yeah, he did a wonderful job there. But he said, he's saying, oh, it's a fake eye poke when the masses watch you finger my eye. He said it wasn't a nut shot, and I got 5 minutes. It grazed my cup. That's true. And of course, as a man, when your cup gets grazed, you anticipate what's coming after that pain. And I was anticipating the pain, and then after about 30 seconds, you guys can go back and watch the video. Literally about 30 seconds, I'm like, yeah, that pain's not coming. Let's scrap. Let's go. And we continued on. And you saw the shot where I broke his jaw. Clean off, clean shot. He was holding his eye. Did you guys see that? He was holding his eye. He was complaining to the ref that it was an eye poke. And even the commentators, DC was like, and that was a straight right hand right on the button. And he said it was his eye. So who was actually claiming fouls here? But at the end of the day, he's done a great job of getting the public to believe that. And, I commend him for that. But for me, the wrong that I want to right is just kind of, in that fight I fought with emotion. As much emotion as I was willing to display is what I fought with, and which is why I think I got hit quite a bit, but it was fun. I had fun. That lets you know that I got a little madman in me too. I don't mind getting hit, but I would say I want to make it a little bit more flawless this time around.
And two more quick ones. How much do you just look forward to putting this man behind you? I assume if you beat him again, won't be much talk about a third fight, at least for quite a while. So is that something that you are keen to have happen, just no more Colby Covington being brought up to you?
I don't know. I don't know, because now I'm in the business of pay-per-view. So I don't know if I want him that far back. Of course I want to go out there and stop him, but I want him to quickly make his way back so I can stop him again for a little bit more money.
And last thing, I'm sure you're going to be asked about Khamzat Chimaev plenty this week. I remember I interviewed you earlier this year, and I asked you about him before he had to take all this time off, and you said, all respect to the guy, you showed no ill will. The fact that he seems to be getting a very quick push where you had to do 9 fights before you got a title opportunity. What are your thoughts on him now? Is he someone that you see quickly coming on your radar?
First and foremost, he's done a tremendous job with the opposition that he's been presented with. No shame in that. He's doing great. I like it. I love all the hype that's being there. Like, let's all be honest. Life is not fair. We learn that as kids. Life isn't fair. So I know, some guys get a faster push, some guys don't. But it is what it is. More power to him. He's doing a phenomenal job with the position that he's being put in. So, hats off to him. As far as me, I'm at a point in life to where I'm starting to understand, how much this takes from me. And, I've been 9 weeks now away from my daughter, and, FaceTime does help, but it doesn't do it justice, as far as being there each and every day. So, obviously I don't know how much longer I'm willing to do this, they have to make sense for me now. So if he's able to get there, then, we'll talk about it at that point.
Come on, right here. First of all, is your knuckle okay?
Yeah. No, it's okay. When you wrestle and you scrap a lot, you might get a scratch here and there. And, of course, you got to put a little Band-Aid so you don't bleed all over everything.
And before Israel rematched Marvin Vettori, he kind of pointed to your fight against Jorge, where you didn't have to take that fight. You still took it to answer the questions, and he viewed that as starting the second lap, which he's now doing. So is this the start of the second lap for you around this division against Colby?
The start? Oof. Bro, I'm running. I'm sprinting past these dudes. I'm looking back and smiling at them now. This is a fun one. I'm having fun with this now. That's the thing. I'm having fun with it now. Like I've said before, I've been classically trained in all of this, in this sport. Coming up and watching guys like Sugar Rashad Evans and going with him to these media tours and these big fights. I was able to get an inside look at what this could be to where I was able to dream and manifest what I wanted to be. So being up here and having these opportunities now, I'm just, I'm blessed, and, it feels great. I'm having fun.
And obviously, since your first fight with him, you've since joined Trevor Whitman. He's also changed camps, and he said he's added a whole lot of new wrinkles to his game. So are you expecting a completely new Colby Covington, or is it like what Tyson Fury's corner said when they fought Deontay Wilder, like a fighter's always just going to go back to what got them to the dance, no matter how much they try to add this deep into their career? Yeah,
Obviously you guys have saw what I've done because, I've been fighting, so you guys have seen that. For him, I can't necessarily say the same because knowing the kind of guy that he is, and like I said, we have mutual friends, so I get a good glimpse. I've gotten a good glimpse of who this guy is outside of the cage, and judging by that, I think he's the same asshole, and yeah, just at a new team. So at the end of the day, when you get in there with a lion like me and I hit you in the mouth, you're going to resort to what you know best, and you're going to throw whatever those coaches are saying out the window because you don't really give a shit because you're really an asshole.
And finally, Michael Chandler was in here earlier, and he jokingly called you a narc. And then he obviously he was joking. He said he still considers you a good friend. Justin Gaethje said that even if he asked you for advice, it wouldn't even matter because they're still getting into a fist fight. So, as someone who knows both men very well, what can fans expect in that fight? I'm not asking you for a prediction, but just the fight in general.
My predict. Nah, I'm playing. No. Michael Chandler's a very very good fighter, explosive fighter. It's one of the reasons me and him kind of bonded while he came down to H Kickboxing a few years back is the fact that we like to work, we like to train smart, and we like to train hard and often. And so me and him gravitated towards one another. And so, yeah, I was able to get a good glimpse of who he is as a competitor. And, excellent fighter, very good, hard-nosed fighter. It's so funny how similar these guys are. Justin's just a savage, really, the only word to describe him. This is a guy that kind of loves fighting. I'm being honest with you guys. I don't necessarily love fighting. I love to compete, but this guy just loves what he does. He eats, sleeps, and breathes this. So you guys can expect just the fireworks. And this is one of those fights to where if both of these men are standing after that third round, you could tell that they're just nuts. Just madman, they could definitely take a shot.
Kamura, mentioned Hamzat here, and you said, you haven't got long left in this career. When people start bringing up names like him to you, is there a feeling of like, oh, a champion's work is never done? Like you get rid of one guy and there's already the next guy ahead of you?
I mean, that's how it is. Like, come on. After I get done with the fight, what did you guys do last time? I just sent Masvidal to the shadow realm, and you guys are, so who's next? Is Kobe next? Like that's what it is. It's always going to be that way. And if all champions, especially some of the best champions in the world, continue to listen to that, then basically all you guys want to see is me continue to be successful until I'm not successful. Then you guys can then put that stamp on it and say, he's washed up, he needs to leave. I want to be that champion who does it. I want to do it on my own time. I like Khabib, and I know a lot of people have been throwing a lot of shades, saying a lot of things about Khabib leaving when he wanted to leave. That's how you do it. Even George St. Pierre, that's how you do it. You leave when you want to leave. You don't let the sport retire you. So, yeah, whenever I feel like, that time's there, it's time for me to go.
We speak about you lapping the division now, and I think you're in this legacy building phase of your career where people are just kind of throwing any situation at you to see, oh, what can he rise to? I saw you do an interview yesterday, like, oh, can you win another belt? For you personally, what builds more for your legacy? Lapping a division over and over again, or winning a second title in a one-off?
To me, I don't really, let's be honest, I've kind of done what there is to do in MMA, in UFC. This Saturday, live on ESPN, pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden. What's bigger than that? I've headlined pay-per-views before. The first event back with fans. And look how that looked, how that pay-per-view went. Fought Kobe the first time, T-Mobile Arena, headlined that. Went all the way to Abu Dhabi, headlined that, in Fight Island 1. I mean, what is there to do in the sport? I've done it all, You talk about legacy. Like, look what I've done to this point. When I'm done and I walk away, guys are going to look back and say, wow, he was special, just like we've done with some of the greats. And so if I'm looking at legacy, I want to do something that's not been done before. These guys don't really scare me anymore. I mean, of course, there is the fear of myself and not, competing and not looking the way that I want to look. But what scares me is since when in history have we ever seen pound for pound in both combat sports at their prime go at it? We've never seen that. Wouldn't the world love to see that? I know I would.
Kamura, to your left over here. Not to give anything away, but for the last fight with Colby, you kind of said, I'm going to keep it on the feet for the fans, throw down with them a bit. This time around, I'm getting the sense from you that maybe not having the same feeling. So, like I said, not to give anything away, but can we expect some wrestling in this one? What are we thinking?
Listen, I'm better than this guy in every way possible. I'm just better than him. And that's just one thing that I do well that I didn't realize until, these wins started racking up. I'm like, I kind of control these fights and where they take place and how they go. Let's work on that. And so, yeah, the fight's going to play out wherever I want him to play out. Like, obviously, if he wants to not take as much punishment, he's going to try to wrestle. Then he's going to realize very quickly, I'm a much better wrestler than him. Then he's going to have no choice but to stand. Well, if I want to take him down, I could have taken him down. And I can take him down if I want. So we'll have to see. The only thing is, like I said, that first one I wanted to, the world wouldn't have been satisfied if I hadn't done that to him. And so that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do that. This one, I'm going to be strategic, but you can rest assured